St. John Penuel Chidester III, and today I am the Revelator. This is News Channel 3.3. The other day's episode was about directed energy weapons. That was our primary focus. We might talk about that a little bit today. But primarily, there's been a lot of content floating around about that. So I don't really think that that's necessary to talk about. So we're going to keep it moving. We're going to get right into the main focus of this broadcast. The main focus of this live broadcast is that this information isn't out there. Nobody's bringing any of it to you. This is the weather modification. Weather. I'm the latest anchor man. There's other ones. You can look into them. I'm going to provide their content. We're going to get into detail. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff that has to do with weather modification. And you'll see here that I used the Minecraft design for the weather mods inside of Minecraft. Not that I'm a fan of Minecraft or even know anything about that. I don't have time for those kind of things in my life. But Minecraft is what you would say in 4chan, 8chan when you would say something like, I'm going to kill you. You would say in Minecraft. And the algorithms get all messed up, I think. Might not happen that way anymore, but pretty sure that if you use the term in Minecraft behind anything, pretty much covers you. I haven't seen it on Court Cam or Court TV or any of that kind of stuff yet, but, you know, like this weather modification is a big deal, man. This is like the biggest threat that we have. You're a target. I'm a target. We're all targets. And I've put a lot of effort into this. As you can see, all these clip arts and all the design work that you see, this is all done by me. I don't have a staff. I don't have no crew. I'm not asking for no money either. I'm asking for you to support the knowledge. We also spoke yesterday about the weather, the fake news. We spoke about the fake news, and it's important to discuss the fake news, okay? Because this is the propaganda that's coming down on our people, okay? Yesterday's episode was awesome because we went into AFIX's Jet News, and we pulled out the article for the CIA, investigation into the Kennedy assassination, and I got to reveal my connection to the Kennedy assassinations through my family. And just so happens in another news article, there was something about fake comedians, and we put on a real comedian, and that guy is the son of the detective that was involved with that investigation that my brother was a part of. Pretty interesting stuff, guys. History. But it's still his story. Like, I'm trying to get this thing straightened out so that you could do your own homework and your own research and come to your own conclusions. Like, that's what this is about. So another thing that we're going to touch on a little bit today is we're going to get into the war games element. Okay? And, it's a big game. They're playing around with ideologies, and they're playing around with our time. And they're playing around with our resources and our energy. And I'm sick of it. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into some war games type situations. That could be anything from the technology. All these topics could be anything from the technology to the latest maps associated with it, to quotas, to ideologies around it, symbolisms around it, all this stuff. We're going to get into all of it. But war games, huge, huge. And then we had the thing just the other day where they give out $700 and a no comment from the White House to the people down there in Hawaii. And, Ukraine gets billions of dollars. I don't get it. Okay, so this young man right here, this is Corey Enderlot. You'll see him here with Mark Passio from whatonearthishappening.com. Corey's site is Nita.one. He is a content creator, creates a lot of great content. Young man has inspired me to get more involved, to go live more. We've got a lot of activities upcoming. I'm very grateful to him and his progress and what he's been up to. He's got something called the Liberator 2. I suggest you go check it all out. He's looking for 1-minute clips from content creators. Because freedom is the only way we're going to do this. And he's the youngest and most profound abolitionist I've ever met. And I'm looking for solutions, guys. This is all about solutions, this broadcast. I'm going to expose a lot of crap. But I'm looking for solutions. So Corey and I and another individual, we went to Jim Galt's Food Forest Abundance dealie down there in Gulch Landing, Florida, and we were able to experience what off-grid living should look like. Solutions. You know, so you can go back and look at that episode 1010. You can find out all about that. There's links to the other people that were involved in all their episodes. And it's like 3 different perspectives on the same idea, the same concept, the same future, which is freedom. So the other individual that went with us, his name's Jonathan Wright. He does Nothing New Under the Sun. He has a broadcast, revolution.radio, and here's the...
Very much, thank you. Because that's where you grow, and when you're grateful for those things, you're telling the universe you understand that that's your karma. And it will stop happening to you.
Welcome everyone to the Jonathan Wright Show with your host, Jonathan Wright.
Common sense to me says that we completely abandon the vaccination. Let's work together. Let's stop these evil Nazis. When you fully receive the gifts of each moment and the beauty in all that surrounds you, life gives you more of these. Make the most of every moment. Being present and mindful reminds us of the fleeting nature of life and pulls us to feeling gratitude for every blessing we are given. Mindfulness teaches us to accept ourselves and all our emotions, to feel them, to let our thoughts pass through the mind objectively, all while being consciously aware. To live in a state of enlightened mindfulness is to just be.
So yeah, Jonathan Wright, Nothing New Under the Sun.us. I've been involved with him on several occasions in person and in real life.
Being a scumbag to, you know, a good father, a good brother, a good, you know, son, cousin, nephew, whatever, right? But if if I didn't have those periods to look at, like, why was it being successful and what was it that was leading me away from being successful in my recovery, right? And a lot of people are, you know, if they tune into this episode, they might want to hear, like, what's it going to take for me to be successful in my recovery? Well, look at what does work and look what doesn't work, right? For me, what did work was when I was getting out of myself and getting myself out of the way and helping other people. When I was able to do that and have a platform or an ability to do that, I noticed that I was more successful in my recovery process and its outcomes and what was occurring, right? So, like, when I wasn't interested in helping others or, you know, relieving their suffering or relating to it, at the very least, being just that little glimpse of, like, the eye opens and you can see and you can say, well, I can see that by me helping this person, it's helping me, right? When you're able to actually have that as your practical experience, you'll turn and say to yourself, man, you know, like when I was involved with helping other people, that's why you get people in the 12-step processes or some of the other socially organized networking and therapy type group atmospheres. You always have somebody that's a speaker that's telling their story. You'll have somebody that, you know, and they feel as though they're privileged to be in that position to give that information out from their own experience. And what does it do for that person sitting in the chair? 9 times out of 10, and I'm going to tell you, the 1 time out of 10, that was me. I got up out of the chair after telling my story and going out the door and using or drinking. I've done that. I've personally done that. You know, even like, you know, like, so you have to look at it like, so what is it? What is it that about helping other people, right? Well, first, it's recognition. Right? You have a purpose. You decide that you have a purpose in this
online, and we've tried to come up with different solutions. We don't always agree on different topics. I'm sure we're going to discuss that tomorrow night while I'm on his episode with Crip Rick and the Jonathan Show. You'll see their little ad here playing.
Welcome to the Crypt Rick and Jonathan Show. I'm your host, Crypt Rick, and this is my co-host, Jonathan Wright.
We are going to be bringing you information and inspiration from all the variety under the sun. Things that will encourage mental and spiritual growth and empower you to freedom, fun, and health.
6 to 8 p.m. right here at Revolution Radio.
The journey begins.
But I'm looking for solutions. I'm looking for real solutions. We have to care. We have to care. We have to care. We have to care. You have to care. You have to inform yourself, and you have to care. You have to get active, and you have to care. I don't do just stuff online. I go in person to people and deal with people in real life situations to try to affect change. When it comes to addictions, I worked in the field. I was a mental health worker for years. I worked inside rehabs and psychiatric hospitals until I couldn't take it anymore. And they pushed me out the door by forced mandates. We're going to get into that in the future episodes. But this whole thing here, oh man, I don't even know how to describe it to you. It's crazy. But Jonathan Wright, Solutions, Food Forest Abundance, Jim Gale. Solutions, Gulch Landing, Jim Gale. Corey Engelot, Nita One. Solutions. I'm looking for solutions while I expose this agenda, while I dispel their narrative, while I bring you the real maps and radars and try to, give my best interpretation of what the hell is going on here. Because this is a hell on earth. That's how I ended that first episode. Hell on earth. So anyway, as these natural disasters occur throughout the regions, I try to do my part. I'm involved with Bob Akoff. We operate something called perseverance.tech, and we utilize all of our experience and years of experience for Bobby, a couple years for me, when it comes to, disposal of waste, debris. Maybe some type of storm came through and wiped out some trees, or you have lots of extra debris on your property, or you need something, removed, and you're not sure how to do it. Like, we give out advice, we give out free estimates, and we provide expert services. We've worked for realtors, banks, REO property owners, private owners. We do all kinds of clean out and trash out services. But the one that I want to focus on right here is we also provide this service here, which is like really important when you have a hole in your roof. To prevent any further damage, you need to have your roof tarped immediately. And I'll show you how we do that real quick. Take a look at our commercial. Monkey Works. I've been watching him for a couple years now. He's a military-based content creator. He's one of the very few points out all the flights and the different types of software.
Let's do this. Let's talk weather modification for a minute. This is going to be NOAA or NASA's science program. Science program pay close into the NASA side. And let me just show you what these folks have been up to the last 30 days. Now, if you've been watching the weather, remember, we've got crazy flooding and all kinds of stuff up here in the Northeast going on right now. And it has been going on while everybody down here is in the clam bake, right? It's just completely hot. And but this side of the U.S. has just been getting inundated with
As I showed you in the first recording, weather modification is very real. Directed energy weapons is very
the Southern
real.
California,
Scalar
the desert
technology
southwest
very
region of the
real.
United
It's
States is
being
under
utilized.
aerial assault with nanotech dispersion of metallic compounds, probably of aluminum and other things. But what they've done is they've sprayed the upper atmosphere with a large amount of probably fly ash, like aluminum oxide.
A couple data points for you. We're going to look at this. I'm going to show you the NASA flights. When I say NASA, this is NOAA and the NASA in the name of science. All right. And we're just going to go through it. And I'm going to talk to a couple things while you're watching this video. Notice this one. Remember the area we were watching the balloons and everything else down south, down towards Baja, right? What are they doing down there? I don't know. And then we get over here, over Arizona, they're doing a lot of stuff. Southern Texas out towards the Gulf. Okay, last 30 days, again, last 30 days. All right, and the northeastern side of the United States, again, a little bit over Calgary. You get down to Southern California. You wonder why the skies are clouding up, right? A little spraying maybe, covering things. Same thing here, covering the skies. Maybe a little bit here, covering the skies, right? You're talking about chemtrails, okay? And then look at this, because this is high altitudes. 1973, 1974, there was a bill that was passed, S.3028, Weather Modification Regulation Act by the 93rd Congress. The bill was introduced to regulate weather modification activities. And here's a summary. Licensing and permits, reporting requirements, weather modification information system, right? That's all NOAA. And then international weather modification control. So in other words, we need to monitor what our enemies are doing because this could be weaponized, all right? This was back in 73, folks. And then there were some general provisions that were in there that basically, said this is how we're going to go forward and just in general, funding, et cetera, okay? Now, in 2005, 2006, there was another bill that was passed called S.517, Weather Modification Research and Development Policy Authorization Act of 2005. That was done by the 109th Congress. This bill basically just give you the summary of it, okay? Establishment of a subcommittee, program goals, all right? How are they going to go forward? Now, that subcommittee had the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, that's who we're watching on the screen right now, and then National Science Foundation, NSF, and then NASA. You know who they are, okay? Program goals, the director's tasked with developing a plan for federal activities under the program. This plan will establish goals and priorities for a 10-year period, describe specific activities to achieve these goals, identify relevant programs from federal agencies, and estimate federal funding for research activities. And then it provides research areas, annual reports. They have to basically come in and tell everybody what they've been doing. And then there's an advisory board, okay? And then support cooperation. That's basically U.S. departments, agencies, et cetera. They all get research funds if they support all of this, right? Now, doesn't stop there. 2023, Illinois, then this is just the state of Illinois, put together SB 0134, Weather Modification Act, and the bill was basically introduced to prohibit weather modification over the state of Illinois, okay? It defined seeding operations, okay? And then it basically gave an effective date. Provisions would take effect immediately upon passage. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The bill was filed by Senator Neil Anderson, January 24, 2023. It underwent a first reading on the same day and was then referred to assignments. On January 31st, 2023, it was assigned to an Environmental and Conservation Committee, and then the bill was postponed by that committee on March 9th, 2023, and then on March 10th, it was re-referred to assignments as per Rule 39A. So they basically kicked the can and said, yeah, we're not going to let you stop this. So it is not stopped clearly because as we get into the United States and you see that this aspect right here, away from Florida, which pay attention to Florida too, because that becomes critical, and the Caribbean, this right here is what we were talking about 3 days ago, weather modification. And just notice the high altitude operation, okay? You would think when we look at the surveys, for example, and you see that same kind of line, what you are seeing are them actually at a lower altitude doing LiDAR data. This is a higher altitude, around 25,000 feet.
this, in my opinion, they're either cloud seeding or they are chemtrailing. Now, the one that is to the very north there that we see, we talked about the other day, that was one of the aircraft that was actually seen spraying some kind of pink substance, and somebody got a photo of it coming out of the aircraft.
One Pacific Redwood. Yeah, so this is him, One Pacific Redwood. He just released a video today, man. You guys got to check this out. He was the first one. Like, there wasn't anybody else out there doing this stuff. He was showing you the maps. He showed you the technology. Many years now. He doesn't have a huge following. I would suggest you go over there and subscribe to him. He focuses primarily in the southern California region and Hawaii and the Southwest. Sometimes he gets into the Northwest and Canada a little bit, but you guys got to check this guy out. He was the first, like I said, he was the first one. And without him, I wouldn't have the rabbit holes or the knowledge that I have today. I wouldn't have access to a lot of the systems and radar maps and understand what the movements mean when you see them. He's going to show you the creation and the decimation of Hurricane Fernando and Hurricane Hillary. Here it goes.
All right, well, today is August the 16th, 2023, and at 11:40 a.m., we have a temperature of 96.2 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 26.6%. We have a dew point of 55.3 degrees, and the barometer is reading 29.92 inches. All right, so right now, we're looking at this is the water vapor map for the East Pacific, and this was Hurricane Fernando right here. And I want to show this bit of detail. Hurricane Fernando is no longer yesterday, Tuesday. This was a strong Category 1 storm. I think it may have even been a category of, a weak Category 2 storm. And if you look at the National Hurricane Center map, we can see that right out here is where Fernando is. 65 mile an hour winds, pressure of 994 millibar, moving west at 15 miles per hour, right just about, probably about 17 degrees north. Hawaii is at 20 degrees north, right along this line. And so this hurricane has been taken out. And yesterday it was a hurricane. Like I say, it was a Category 1, strong Category 1. All right, now notice what happens to Fernando right here. Now this had a very well-defined eye wall. You can see the blast patterns and the icicle pattern all the way around that. That's the heated air rushing out at high speed, which causes this icicle pattern, these pressure waves. That's the superheated water vapor rushing away from the center of the targeted area. And then we see a lot of evaporation, and basically there's nothing left of Fernando. Let's go ahead and look at this in the, let me see if I can find here's Fernando right here. I'll let that load up. Meantime, we have another, let's see if we can find that. Here we go. This is the water vapor map showing the entire sequence. We can see that it's targeted near the end of the loop here, and you can see the rings, the blast pattern, the icicle pattern all the way around, and we just have nothing left of Fernando. Now, as you watch this, just think of Hurricane Ian last season, which was allowed to bear down and just completely destroy Fort Myer and that entire area. And in addition to
wasn't just Fort Myers, Ian hit Daytona Beach, right over where I was at when I was doing my tarot card readings. So that's like crazy. Literally the bench that I sat on and the little platform area where I was at, like that's all in the same location where the bench was destroyed. You can go back and look at the videos and the pictures associated with that. Crazy stuff, guys. But you'll see in this video how it just like totally breaks apart, and there looks like there's almost two different like yin and yang corresponding pushes through the moisture in the cloud cover. So take a good look at it and see what you think when you watch this.
There were no WSR-88Ds in service in Florida, and there's a number of them. I pointed them out in the past. Those are high-power ground-based microwave Doppler radars. They're basically masquerading as severe weather detection radars, but they have a dual function, which is to break up storms and thunderstorms and severe weather. And I've shown that numerous times how they create those pie-shaped cutouts, which is the evaporation pattern by the microwave energy evaporating the water vapor in the air. So I've shown that hundreds of times. And so getting back to Hurricane Ian, that was a storm that was allowed to mow through Fort Myer and cause billions of damage and ruin thousands, tens of thousands of businesses, lives, people's homes, property, everything. These demons that control our weather. So here we have
I do have a clip of Sanibel Island. Me and Bobby with Perseverance.tech, we were one of the first ones allowed on the island when they reopened it. And I have some footage of that. I'll try to bring that into a future episode and we could talk about that and really get down and break down what happened with that incident. That's old news, guys. I want you guys to understand that this technology exists and they're utilizing it against us. and I'm not the only person out here saying this. There's lots of people that are saying it, but I want you guys to inform yourselves. I'm giving you the option with these content creators to get to them, to see and do your own homework, do your own research, come to your own conclusions about what you see.
A perfect example of what I'm talking about. They can kill these hurricanes. Here's the eye wall. It disappears. You can see that they're targeting that hurricane. This was a strong category 1 yesterday. I think it even was up at 100 mile per hour winds for a short time. But look at that. You see this giant hole right there where that transmitter heated that atmosphere, disrupting the lift. All these hurricanes are is just a convective machine. And the Coriolis effect is how we get the spinning going. And you have a low pressure center in the center of the vortex, and it pulls air rapidly up vertically through the column and out through the top of the hurricane. And that's what creates the hydrostatic pressure on the surface of the ocean, which actually lifts the ocean. It's like a hydraulic response. You're pulling pressure over many square miles, and that raises the ocean. It seems unbelievable, but that's what happens. All right, so you can see that Fernanda is no longer. And let's go ahead and look at the this is the water vapor map for the East Pacific. This is the remnants of. Let's go take a look here. This is.
The other thing I want to point out is this Fernando, as you can see, is heading right towards Hawaii. So they broke it apart because I guess they accomplished what they set out to do in Hawaii. But just in case there was another one coming. These are weapons, people.
Greg, right here. 50-mile-an-hour winds, 1,000 millibar pressure, and it's moving west at 14 miles per hour just south of the islands, a few hundred miles south of the Hawaiian Islands. Probably about 700 or 800 miles south. Okay. And then we have another one down here, Hillary. This is scheduled to move right up the Baja Coast and into Southern California. Let's go ahead and look at that cone track right here.
Any relation to Hillary Clinton?
And we can see that they've got it scheduled as a hurricane through Friday morning, and then it weakens, and then it somehow regains strength right here, indicating on Sunday morning. So this is pointed right at San Diego and Tijuana, Mexico, and it'll be very interesting to see those WSR-88D ground-based microwaves chopping up and evaporating all the rain potential from this system. And we'll see how much rain we get from that. Now, looking at the, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening here in California right now.
So he actually thinks they're going to break it up and not let it happen. But I think they're going to let that thing slam right into Southern California.
Riverside County. I don't have the Doppler map up right now. I should probably pull that up. Let's go ahead and see if we can get that loaded up. You see we have a low pressure vortex right offshore. It's kind of a dry low. That means there's no convection around this vortex here, which is certainly unusual. There should be a lot of convection showing up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Doppler map. See what we have here. Plenty of rain over Florida, Fort Myers, and various areas around. Okay, so Southern California, there's a little bit of rain happening in the desert area, out near Palm Springs, Borrego Springs, and out into areas near the Salton Sea, Borrego Springs area, the Anza Borrego Desert. Okay, this is just a short update.
Amazing content. Amazing content provider. Thank you for your work over the years, sir. We need more people doing this. We need more people doing this.
Very well informed. So I would definitely check into him to get like a basis, but he doesn't put out a whole lot of content. But this guy here is someone that I watched for several years now. And Mike Morales, may he rest in peace. He's no longer with us. I think he finally succumbed to his battle with cancer. Many people have watched this guy battle cancer over the years. Also, he's an extraordinary individual with many enthusiasms towards different hobbies and interests, everything from telescopes and astronomy to weather modification. And just like he would give you the 16-day forecast, he was an amazing individual. As you can see on the screen, I put up his GoFundMe for his family. He was in the process of constructing his off-grid living home with his family when he passed. Many people reported into this guy. Many people watched his content. He educated me on so many different aspects of this. It was just amazing. Let's just go right into this so you can see. This is how he would do his broadcast every single week. So let's check that out. Moment of silence for Mike Morales and his family.
To ensure stability in its agricultural sector, China is not leaving things to Mother Nature. The Chinese government is planning to employ upgraded weather control systems in Heilongjiang, Jilin, and Liaoning, the three provinces responsible for 54% of the nation's rice production. The project, which will continue until June, involves creating artificial rain using cloud seeding, special aircraft, rockets, and much more. China has been...
Mr. Fletcher, another question on the in an interview with the Los Angeles Times on April 21st, you said that you told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own that not only does it exist, but that we even utilized it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base with Senator Pell.
I just want to repeat before I turn it.
So yes, but we do have all that information.
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans.
It was cool because you knew when this part was happening, that's when he pushed the go button and we were getting ready to hear him start talking and telling us the 16-day forecast that everyone looked forward to.
All right, guys, welcome back. They want to monetize the rainfall with cryptocurrency. We'll get into that. Reporting for FEMA Region 7. Just jumping to the main screen. We got a brand new bunker fuel mission. So the weather patterns are going to change in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I want to thank you guys for tuning in to something a little different and something a little bit less alternative. In no way does this broadcast endorse government or any of its slave systems. Please stay tuned. We're going to be releasing more and more content. It's going to be something that's just a constant thing that just keeps occurring over and over and over again because nobody's doing anything and we need to do more. I want to thank you for coming out. Thank you to the content creators that I cited. I didn't say it yesterday in yesterday's broadcast, but it's jimmyschubert.com. JIMMYSHUBERT.com. He's the comedian that I cited with that whole fake news situation over there. So I just wanted to bring these things to light. Guys, stay tuned. More content is coming. I don't ask for any money. I don't grift. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to provide content that's informative and entertaining. I call it edutainment. So thank you for stopping by New News Now, channel 3.3. We're going to break all that down. And I'm your host, the Revelator.